So the chain's about the same. That's the apparatus I concocted. You know, it gives me about a half an inch of adjustment.
Ride on, Jewel. Let your spirit be free with the wind at your back.
Hey, I told you I knew where I was.
Sing loud, Jewel. Let your heart be your guide in the depths of the thunder. It's your rant and your ride.
Ruts and stuff in this road is so bad. Anyway, this is old guy post motorcycle crash report. I'm just shy of 6 weeks from my injury. If you're new to this channel, which I doubt it, but anyway, just shy of 6 weeks. So, still sore, still healing. My foot on this side, my foot on that side, you know, I broke something in there, ankle bone, on that side, but the swelling goes all the way through the foot. You know, it still swells up. The funny thing is when I ride my mountain bike, if you've been watching my videos, when I ride my mountain bike, the swelling goes down. You know, because you're moving the foot, getting blood circulation. But when I'm trying to baby it at home, then it swells up. This thumb took most of the damage. This is like the 4th time in my lifetime that I've damaged that thumb. I've had to have surgery on it before where they pinned it back on. And the reason why you always injure that thumb is because in a crash you do a death grip on this handlebar on this side. It does not rotate like the throttle, and therefore, you know, your thumb takes all the impact if you don't let go. And I don't like letting go. I broke a pair of handlebars in half right here from not letting go. In my younger years, I snapped them off. But the thumb joint is, I mean, it's still sore. I bought these new gloves, you know, because I was looking for hand protection. Well, they've got gloves with wrist protection, right? EBS, these are called wristers. Yep, your short one helmet over there. These are called wristers. And of course, I think it'll be great so you don't break your wrist, but you'll still break your thumb. I think the only thing that saved me from breaking my thumb was my watch. Kept my thumb from getting all the way jerked back. So, you know, I probably would have completely broke my thumb if I didn't have my watch on, but the watch, you know, was up against my thumb there, so 2 things, you know. The watch contributed to some injury, but it probably kept my thumb from being broken again. So this is the first time back on the motorcycle. I'm just seeing how my thumb and my wrist can do over the bumps. You know, in the dirt, I only use the clutch to start and stop, mostly. You know, you don't need to pull the clutch unless you're, hey, doing single track or something. Yeah, I know when I got injured, the guy was like, well, how much experience you got? How long you been riding? Because, you know, you're going to have to ride without your clutch. I'm like, well, I probably do 80% of my riding without the clutch anyway. Lever. And he's like, oh, really? Okay, Mr. No Clutch. You know, it's like, well, that's not on single track, right? I never claimed to be a single track rider. I wish, but at my age, I'm not like, oh, I want to start a new career in single track since I got a gas. No, that isn't why I bought the gas. To start a new career in single track, because I'm not flexible anymore. You know, it's the real harsh bumps that blam. It's gonna jolt my thumb, but I mean, it's actually feeling better at the moment than I would think it would. And so, hurrah for suspension. So I just wanted to do this because on Sunday I'll probably attempt to ride to Yarrington, and that involves a little more than just all flat road. And I don't know about these wrister gloves. I've already got a little bit of an opinion. This finger goes numb. I don't think I threw another pair of gloves in my backpack, but so these gloves are so tight. I mean, they fit me just right, but they're so tight that after you're riding in the desert and you sweat in them, if you were to take them off, I don't think you're getting them back on. And the other thing is the Velcro. Yeah, just drive on my side of the road. You got the whole road. I'm usually the one in the middle of the road. And I don't think the Velcro is going to last very long because it's not very strong. I mean, that's number one, right? If you're going to put Velcro on a glove, it should be really, really strong. And I think they missed the mark. You know, it's got great wrist support, so you can't really go farther back than that. But how come they didn't give you thumb support? It wouldn't have interfered with the using your thumb, but it would have helped it not going backwards, right? So I think they missed the mark by not doing that. Can't lose my train of thought here. I had a lot to rant about, So going over the bike after a few days after my accident, I mentioned in one of my videos I found that the front tire was flat. I have tubeless. What that means is it's got an inner bladder that should fill up to 110, 120 pounds to make the outer tire tubeless. Right? And then if you get a flat in the outer tire, you could actually ride it home if you had to on that inner bladder. But you wouldn't be able to ride it home like it was inflated to your normal inflation. Well, I think what contributed to my crash was my front tire was flat. I think it went flat somewhere on that ride from hitting rocks and stuff. It probably, popped the bead enough to let the air out. Because I was probably running 10 or 11 pounds on that single track ride, which wouldn't take much slamming of a rock, to pop the air out of it. That and lousy front brake control. So I think I was tapping my front brake. I think I did it right on top of a rock. And then that tire was flat. So it rolled. It just took off. So anyway, I still got to change my front tire to a new tire, but just riding it down Fort Churchill with the proper amount of air pressure in the tires, it feels normal. So the whole time I was on that single track ride, I was complaining that it didn't feel quite right, and I just think that was because the front tire didn't have any air in it. Yeah, I haven't been down here for 7 weeks now, and looks rockier than last time I came through here. Okay, so on to the next thing. I've got my Bell helmet on, which I was wearing when I face planted, and I did face plant. There's no scratches on the helmet itself. And I didn't break the visor. I scratched up the shield and scratched up the visor, but because of the way that I do my visor on my Bell helmet, well, most of my helmets, is the visor is held on by a metal screw on the top. And I lower my visor and put in a plastic screw. Well, when I face planted the rock, it broke that plastic screw, which saved the visor from getting broken. And the visor actually came down over the front of my face, which probably saved my face. It saved my camera. I mean, this will be the first video taken with this camera after the accident, so we'll actually see if it saved the camera, but I believe it did. I didn't notice any scratches. I was for sure that this camera was going to be totally destroyed. But hopefully the camera doesn't have any scratches. I think we can flip the lens around if it does, because it's a 360 lens, and I think it can be flipped around. So, you know, I face planted a rock, a big rock. I felt it when I face planted it on my helmet, but I didn't have a sore neck or anything. Didn't have a headache, didn't have anything. And I actually told my friend that morning I kind of got a kink in my neck. After the accident and the face plant, I didn't have a kink in my neck anymore. You know, I mean, I felt really good as far as that part went. So anyway, I have not completely fixed my visor and put it back with a plastic screw yet, because I don't know where my visor kit is. I'm gonna have to go buy more parts, spend more money. It's not expensive, but you know, I already have the parts. I just don't know where they are. Of course, they're hiding either in the garage or one of my drawers or something. I used to know where they were. Don't lose my train of thought. Anyway, I gotta fix that. My shield didn't get scratched up so much that it's unusable. It has one scratch on the right hand side, a pretty good one. Not this shield. Every time I bought a Bell helmet, I have 3 of them, I would take the clear shield off and buy a tinted shield. I have a tinted shield and I have a photochromatic shield. You know, those are like $150. That's my favorite one, but that's the one that got scratched. So yeah, so we'll see how sore this ride makes my wrist. I mean, I can feel it, you know. The farther I go down this road, I can feel it more and more, but we'll see how it feels, whether I'll ride on Sunday or not. Alright, so that's good news, you know. No scratches on the helmet because I didn't hit the helmet. I face planted with the visor and the shield, and my plastic visor screw broke away, so the visor didn't get broken, because you can't replace the visor with the same style. Bell is really good about changing styles every year to make you buy a new helmet. Isn't that cool? It works, but if you don't buy a new visor when you buy the helmet, and you break the visor, you're shoot out of luck. You know, you just have to put a different mismatched visor on it. Okay. So good news and bad news. The bike really didn't sustain any damage. It has some scratches on it, of course, but not major scratches. I decided to change. This is the bad news. Good and bad news. I decided to change the countershaft sprocket. Put a bigger countershaft sprocket so the bike is happier at going 60 and 70 miles an hour. And yeah, it won't be as happy on single track, but I don't want to ride it on single track. That's what the gas is for. Why didn't I have the gas for the single track ride? Because they didn't say it was going to be a single track ride until you showed up. I kind of guessed it was because it was a Pine Nuts ride. I'm the only one who rides the Pine Nuts on the 2-track. Because I like to ride today to ride tomorrow. If you're going to ride single track, you're going to drop your bike. You know, it's almost guaranteed. You're going to drop it or whatever. Most of the people who were in our group dropped their bikes. Fell over, dropped them, picked them up. You know what I'm saying? Huh? Okay, so everybody did that. But anyway, I changed the countershaft sprocket. You know, everything's AI these days, right? Ask AI. AI knows. AI knows everything. Hey, AI, can I put a 15-tooth countershaft sprocket on my Husky 350? Oh, yes, you most definitely can. Okay, so I buy the sprocket. Well, yeah, the sprocket fits, but your case guard doesn't fit anymore. So I had to grind the case guard out. It's only about an 1/8 inch thick of plastic protecting my case now. Might be less than that if the chain's rubbing on it. But I got that on there. Hooray! So I go to adjust my chain for the new sprocket. And this is the bad news. The axle block chain adjuster on this side of the bike over here was seized up. It was frozen. Yeah, stuck in the swing arm. So I tried to get it out, of course, you know, oil, heat, all of that. No, it was seized up, so I just broke it off. So I started to drill it out. You know, I got a very tiny titanium drill bit and made a hole, and I got that hole right in the center of it, and I'm like, oh, this is cool, I'm going to get it drilled out. Well, the second bit broke off, you know, the next size up. So I'm like, great. Now I had a hole started all the way through the bolt, but now it's got a hardened drill bit in it. So then I try again with a little bit, and I got another hole off to the side drilled through. But none of my other drill bits would finish the job. So see, just riding down these bumps on this road, my wrist is getting sorer and sorer, you know, and it's going up my arm. I do have a wrist brace in my backpack if I need to stop and put that on. But it's only been 6 weeks out, right? Usually they want you to wear a cast for 6 weeks, and then when you take that off, you're all weak and you have to build your strength back. So I think I'm a little better off than that, a little bit stronger than that. So anyway, I couldn't get the bolt drilled out. I guess what I gotta do is get cobalt drill bits, but they don't make long shafted cobalt drill bits. I gotta have a long shafted drill bit because the swing arm's in the way, you know, the adjustment bolt is set back in the swing arm. So you gotta have a long drill bit to reach it. So anyway, I came up with a temporary different solution. That may work for a while. You know, if I have to. Worst comes to worst, I'll have to take my whole swing arm out and get it to a machine shop. Okay, I can feel those bumps pretty good. I don't know if I like these gloves though. And my chain adjustment, where I have it at right at the moment with the apparatus I created, is my chain's a little bit tight. So usually you adjust it to 3 fingers, and it's about 2 fingers, maybe even a little bit less. So still got slack, you know, but usually you want 3 fingers of slack between the swing arm and the chain. Okay, yeah. So, you know, every time I ride my mountain bike, and my wrist is pretty sore at the end of the mountain bike trek, you know, it feels a little bit better the next day. It's kind of like working out and getting sore, and, you know, you work through it. So, here we are, you know, and this road is 27 miles out to the highway, and I got 27 miles back. Well, I'm feeling that pretty good in my wrist over here, and you know, on Sunday, if we try to do this ride, we'll have to see how it is after I come down this road. You know, I may not be ready to go any farther than that. We've got a Northern California BDR ride in 2 weeks. I should be much better in 2 weeks, should be. But I have to check in with Aaron and make sure we're even going to do that. I wasn't sure my Husky was going to be good. I wasn't even sure I was going to be good. So Aaron's got a bunch of stuff going on. We'll have to see if he's still wanting to attempt that ride. So. I think the countershaft sprocket is working. So if anything else, I would probably drop the back sprocket when I buy new sprockets and chain. I might drop that one tooth. You know, because this is not my single track bike, and it would be better geared for desert roads and those times when you have to get out on the highway. So my thought process is I'm going to kind of turn this into a rally type bike. I'm going to put rally style tires on it. Yeah, see, that's pretty angry right now. I mean, it's working, but you know, my wrist is complaining a little bit. So, and these gloves are tight. I mean, they fit just right, you know. But, and then they're going to stretch out, or they should. I didn't want to get large, you know, because then they're all sloppy in the fingers and everything. The other thing, you know, I'll check my chain. I'm not sure how that bolt seized up. I mean, I got an idea, but I can't figure out why it seized up. I've heard other people have that problem. I'm not exactly sure why it seized up. I better check my gas. It's got the same style. I don't know why these European people can't figure out, you know, like the Japanese did, to use a cam system. It's way easier, and you can't have any bolts seized up. Yeah, cam system. I don't know why they didn't adopt that. The other thing is, you know, I cleaned my pivots on my clutch and my front brake, which made the pull a little bit easier, but still, you know, my clutch pull is probably like 8 pounds, you know, 9 pounds. wind's blowing pretty good today. It's pretty cool out, you know. It didn't get up to 80. So anyway, so the chain's about the same. That's the apparatus I concocted. You know, it gives me about a 1/2 inch of adjustment. Looks like I got a good groove in my back brake. I must have got a rock in the caliper or something. I don't know. Looks like I got a rock in the caliper. Something happened. Okay, that part looks good. Anyway, you know, it's probably been 30 minutes or more. And, you know, you're probably tired of me ranting. I had a lot more to say. I can't really remember everything I wanted to say. This was mainly to see how my wrists would do. You know, I knew this road is all washboard, right? So it's constant bumping, constant pounding. So, I mean, I think I'm doing pretty good. It's sore. I mean, it doesn't hurt when I'm standing here, right? But it is sore after you, once you ride 27 miles down the washboard. So anyway, we'll get back and edit this video and see how it's going. I mean, I expect my wrist will be a little bit better tomorrow. You know, because I definitely gave it a workout today, so we'll go home and put the TENS unit on it. Put the TENS unit on it and some salve, and should be good. But I think it went a little better today than I expected. So, you know, I got halfway through this ride, the 27 miles, before I started feeling it pretty good, but that's not bad. And these gloves feel good like this when you're holding on, you know. They almost feel like they're trying to cut the circulation off. Anyway, thanks for coming along. Alright, well, the wind's blowing like crazy. I don't know if you can hear me over the wind. But we're about ready to get on the highway here. I don't know how you wear this helmet with the stock visor configuration. It's horrible. Horrible in stock visor configuration. So, you know, I think going that direction and riding a little bit slower the first time, I think my wrist hurt more. You know, the slower you go, the more you're going to feel the washboard bumps. So I sped it up on the way back. I mean, my wrist, you know, I can feel it. I can feel that ride, but that's about that was about a 50, I don't know, about a 50-something mile ride, so I thought it was 27 miles, but maybe it's 22.7 miles. But anyway, according to my odometer, it was over 50 miles, so 50-something miles. I think it was a success. Check my chain and stuff again when I get home. And see how it feels tomorrow. See how it feels tomorrow. And of course Sunday. And back down Fort Churchill towards Arrington. See how that works out. I think stopping and talking to the camera for 5-10 minutes, you know, it helps it to rest just a little bit, enough to, you know, it feels better when I take off again. But definitely the clutch is a little bit harder to pull in than it was when I first left the house. But it's like exercising, right? So boy, I think really what I need to do is go to the right. Yeah, I really think I'm gonna do that. Pretty crazy. But anyway, I think it was a successful ride. I expected my wrists to get sore. I expected it actually to be maybe a little bit more sore than it is. Not even 6, I mean, you can call it 6 weeks, but it's not even 6 weeks yet, right? So 6 weeks is usually the timeline for them to call something healed for you to start rehab. This helmet visor, though. This is horrid. That's why I made my helmet visor mod, which actually I think helped out a lot in my crash, but definitely helps out on wearing this helmet in the wind. You know, the wind's probably blowing 20-25 miles an hour here, and it's trying to pull the helmet off my head. You know, because the visor sits up too high. You know, you gotta put your chin and your chest to keep the wind from blowing the helmet off. But when I do my visor mod, it's just fine. It doesn't try to pull the helmet off your head. All right, hallelujah.